What's happening? What's happening? Yeah, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the So Smooth podcast, man. You know the deal. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. You know what I'm saying? So today is actually kind of a big deal, even though it should have been the 10th episode. We are now at episode 10. So can we you know what I'm saying? Can we be a little congratulatory, man? I made 10 episodes in. Definitely happy about it. Definitely pleased about it. Um, Today I didn't really know what to talk about. But I was writing down in like this notebook I have, and I just like kind of like list some of my episode ideas, and the one that kind of I was choosing between talking about public speaking, um, or moving on, and right now I think I really want to talk about moving on. Um, it's and not just moving on, like just moving on from situations, moving on from people, moving on from hardship, moving on, just from loss, whatever the case may be. But real quick though, we do need to do the verse of the day. It really should be verse of the week since my episodes only come out weekly, but we're not gonna do it that way. We're just gonna call it verse of the day. But we are going to be in John. We're going to First John 4, and we are going to First John 4 verse 18, and it's speaking about how God is love. Talking about how when you're the the purest expression in my eyes of love is when you are in God, and because God is love. But we're gonna be so First John chapter 4 verse 18. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear. For fear has to do with punishment, and whoever fears has not been perfected in love. And pretty much what it's I'm just gonna say what it's saying to me is that when we are in God's love and we experience that the purest form of love from the fruits of the Holy Spirit, a lot of the things that would usually get us down don't, because we have moved on from those things. We are stronger than those things. When we are in Christ's love, like it's it's a complete 180, right? Um, but yeah, so today, the 10th episode, we're gonna be talking about moving on. Really, the first thing I want to say is uh understanding, to like put in like just like a one word kind of thing, is understanding. Um, you need to, when you are trying to move on from a situation, um, even though to some people it might not make sense, but try to analyze the situation. Even though you want to move on from it, try to understand what thing, whether it's a friendship, relationship, professional relationship, or professional job, whatever the case, like moving on from a job, like whatever, like figure out what led to you wanting and feeling like, okay, it's time to move on, because everything has a root. Everything has a root. There's no reason why something happens just because. Everything happens because of something else. So when you sit down and think about, understand why you need to move on, what led to it, who or what things someone might have said might have led to it, like think about where you're at and why now you're ready to move on. Like be open to it. Be and also be open to facing the pain that might come with moving on in whatever situation you're in. Like relationships, prime example. Not I mean, no one really likes to move on from their partner, especially when you've been together for a while, and everyone's perspective of a while is different. Some people might be like, "Oh yeah, I've been here. We was together for 2 years and we split apart." But some people it's 6 months, and it's that that's it's hard for them. So perspective is everything with this. But regardless, you've been together for a while, or your opinion of a while, and you've done a lot. You've experienced it a lot. You've shared so many great memories, so many, private things, whatever the case may be. Someone probably met somebody's family at some point. But You need to be open to facing that pain, because if you decide to move on from something knowing you're going to be hurt about it, if you're not open to facing that hurt and that feeling, you're just going to push it down and it's just going to come up when you don't need it to. Instead of facing it head on and understanding that, okay, I need to understand this. I need to face this, because if I don't, it's gonna come back to bite me. Kind of like how some people just try to push feelings down, and then they might be out 6 months to a year down the line, and they see their ex out, and all those feelings just rush back completely. Right? It's like it can be anger, it can be sadness, it can be whatever. Like all of that just comes back to you in like a rush of a wind. Right? I'm not saying you won't have any flashbacks, but the severity of those emotional ties will be less, in my opinion, if you face that pain when it first comes. If you understand that things are ending and you're having to move on, and you have to be stronger, and you have to be, more secure in yourself. When you face that head on, it's so much. It's not completely seamless, but it's easier to possibly see that person or hear their name or interact with them or come across a memory in your phone or whatever. When it comes back, you're like, okay, this is kind of sad, but I've already moved on from this. Instead of having those feelings come back and you feel like, oh, well, maybe I should try to make it work. No. What? No, do not try to make it work. It ended for a reason. You know what I'm saying? It ended for a reason. So it's important to face that pain, and even with the loss of relatives, right? Some people really do push that pain down, or it becomes projected onto people, or projected onto their work, or their children, or their whatever. Like honestly, like whatever they projected onto, and they're not understanding that they're still feeling that pain from the loss of the relative, friend, close person, mentor, whatever. Like if you don't face that pain and just is and another way of saying it, come to acceptance. I'm not saying get over it, because moving on and getting over it it's two different things to me. Getting over it is like you telling somebody like they dropped their food, oh, get over it. Like it's, come on, like get over it. But moving on is different. I don't know how to really explain it, like, because it in some cases it means the same thing, but to me, like, getting over it and moving on is two different things. So you just have to learn to move on from that pain, and because I'm not saying that the pain and loss of a relative or close person to your life will ever go away. But at the same time, you can learn to live with it because you already faced it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've already faced it. You can learn to live with it and move on. It's everyone's process is different. Some people can grieve for a year. Some people might have to grieve for 2 years. Like it's not on nobody's time frame but yourself. But how long you're stuck there will always be up to you. It's always going to be up to you how long you're stuck in a place of not being able to move on, right? Because it's all about connection. It's all like memories is sometimes what really keeps people tied down to these situations that it's just so hard to face. Like, it's memories. And memories are great, but memories are powerful. Very powerful. Like, you keep telling your one friend to move on from they current partner, but they can't, because it's difficult. It's difficult. It's so many memories, there's so much dedication, so much time behind it. Like, especially, and it's another thing too, for people who are being cheated on, right? For people who are being cheated on, and you know they're being cheated on, and you tell them move on. It's not that easy for some people. It's not that easy for some people to move on from someone who's hurting them, because they have memories, they have experiences, they have the person probably knows deep things about them. The person's met their family. They don't want their family to know that they was, being cheated on and that it didn't work. it's so much that goes into it that people don't think about when they tell somebody to move on from a cheating situation. I look, I don't condone cheating at all. I don't. I don't condone cheating at all. I'm just saying, like, the people who are cheating at the same time, the reason they haven't broken it off is because there's so much connected to that person. Like, I'm not making cheating okay. It's not. If you're cheating, and there's so many different forms of cheating, but we're not even gonna get into that right now. But because some people think it's only physical interaction, like romantically, that's cheating. It's a lot more than that. But what I'm saying is, like, even from the cheater's perspective, they're like, bro, why don't you just leave her? Why don't you just whatever, right? Or like, why don't you just, because even girls cheat. They be like, oh, why don't you just leave him? Like, why you got him around? And they'll be like, oh, he do this for me, she do that for me. But deep down, it's like you're connected with that person because y'all have already been through so much before that it even started. Like, that genuine connection was there at one point. And in the back of your mind, like, you want that to be your person when you doing them wrong, or you want them to be your person when they doing you wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's so much that goes into that. That just, like, that's what I'm trying to explain. Like, memories and emotions are so powerful. They're so powerful that you just, it's hard to break away from things, right? And to really learn to move on. And that kind of like transitions into learning from not moving on. Like, let's rewind a little bit. Learning from not moving on and knowing what to do next time. You know, knowing how far to let things go next time. Knowing how to process a loss, like, you know, passing away wise the next time. Knowing how to learn how to maneuver and move on from your job or your friends or your past. Like, some people are stuck and want to live a certain lifestyle when you have to move on from stuff. And, you know, almost everything comes to a close. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, knowing what to do next time and being aware that this isn't last time. You don't have to act like you don't know yourself. You know what you need. You know what you require. You know how you are going to uphold the standard of taking care of yourself. You know, it's I'm not saying, you know, form like a really big plan, because everything's going to be different. Every type of pain or hurt of moving on is going to be different in any situation, even if it's in the same category. Like, you might not feel the same pain as, you know, losing your job at wherever you worked at, but it might be more painful the next one because you had more coworker friends, or you had a better boss, or you had better pay. It's not going to be the same pain, even if it's in the same category of loss. But, you know, you can always understand that knowing what to do the next time is crucial because we learn from past experiences. Like, think about how you reacted last time something like this happened, and think about how to not run from it, but to how to control it better, and to how to move through it better. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to give any crazy, like, in-depth scenarios, because it's gonna be different for everybody. That's why I'm not trying to, like, go crazy deep into each topic, because it's gonna be different for everybody when they go through something. So I can't be like, oh, you should do X, Y, and Z when this happens. Nah, because X, Y, and Z might be ZXY to you. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be the same. That's why I'm not trying to give, like, super crazy deep scenarios. Like, I'm just trying to give an example of being prepared for the next time. Don't expect loss, but be prepared for it. You know what I'm saying? And I know being prepared is expecting it, but don't go in thinking, okay, if I lose this, what am I going to think? No, enjoy the moment while it lasts. Enjoy the moment while it lasts. But, like, just believe in yourself and understand that you can do this, right? And a part of believing in yourself, it means knowing when to move on. So, like, let's go back towards the whole cheating thing, whatever. Let's go back towards the whole Like I mentioned, friend groups. Like knowing when to move on from a situation, knowing that hurt might be in front of you is like one of the most important adult things you'll do for the rest of your life. Like when you're older, or even if you're listening to this when you're younger, like knowing when to move on from something is like really cool. Like you're at the point in time in yourself where it's like, dang, I don't need to be here no more, right? And the self awareness and the discernment of your situation, like I don't think people understand. Like people who have the ability to understand when they need to leave from something already are a step ahead on their journey to becoming like an adult. Are not saying nobody's. I'm not saying people are irresponsible, but I'm saying like you become more responsible for yourself and for your feelings, and more accountable to yourself and your feelings. Like knowing when to move on is like it's like yeah, I gotta get out of here, whether it's within 6 months or whether it's the next day. Like some people need to move fast, but some people need to slowly transition out, but still have the in the back of their mind, okay, this is no longer my place, and let me go somewhere else. With friend groups, like it's it's hard to move on from a friend group. It's difficult because more times than not, that was who you was with all the time, and yeah, I mean, it's difficult. It's hard. It's difficult to move on from a friend group, and it's difficult to move on when the friend group is falling apart. And there was five of y'all, and now there's three of y'all, and the third person ends up getting busy. They're still your friend, but they're busy, so now there's two of y'all, and it's like being in that space of not wanting to move on because everybody was so close. It's not easy, but everything comes to an end. Like I think of life like chapters or like a book, excuse me. And some people are with you. Let's just use I'm gonna just use the college age for example, because that's like majority of what my listeners are is college age. But somebody can be with you from chapters like 18 to like 20. So like freshman year to junior year. And then they fall off. Whether it's a fallout, people get busy, people move separate lives, people get in relationships, whatever. You know, it's 18 through 20, and they're no longer being written in your story. They might they might have a little cameo here and there around chapter 21 at a birthday party or something, but their story is no longer being written. They're no longer a part of the core story anymore. And some people are with you for one chapter. Some people are with you for a page. Like some people are with you for a page, and it's so crazy to think about. People not being in your life when they've been around for so long. Like there's people in my life where I'm like, bro, I don't know. Like I don't know what my life would be like if you weren't here. I don't know. I'm not saying I'll be down bad, but I would. I don't know where I would be without this person in my life, or these people in my life, or whatever. It's so crazy to think about. Think about think about who you're really close with right now. And for like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever, you can pause it if you want to. But think about what your life would be like if y'all were not friends tomorrow. I'm going to give you a little time. But think about it. Think about the closest people in your life right now. Where would y'all be like? Or what would you be like? What would you feel like? Whatever, if y'all were not friends tomorrow? And not because of a falling out, not because of somebody got busy. I'm not trying to make it specific. I'm just saying, if y'all were not friends tomorrow, what would that be like? And that's what I'm trying to really deliver through this message is knowing when to move on when you don't want to. You know what I'm saying? It's when you don't want to move on. It's important to know when to move on. because that goes into healing, which is kind of like my last point. It's like, well, my last point is kind of like healing and honesty with yourself about the situation, but healing is kind of going back to the first point of understanding, because when you understand what happened, you have a better understanding of how to heal from it, because everyone's healing process is different. If I fall out with a friend, I'd be hurt. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with y'all. I'd be hurt when I fall out with my friends, but I have to understand that we fell out for a reason. I've fallen out with people because of my own doing before. So I've been on both sides. I've been falling out with, and I've been the one to cause the falling out. So it's both sides talking right now, and how because even if you do cause the falling out, you still have to heal yourself from the pain, because more than likely it was not on purpose. You know what I'm saying? If it was on purpose, you might need to hit a little heart check. But I'm saying, if it was not on purpose and you guys fell out, you have to deal with that healing. Even if it was your fault, you still have to heal yourself. Even if people like talk bad about you, whatever, like, you still have to heal yourself, because you did something you didn't want to do. You hurt somebody that you didn't want to hurt. You hurt a group of friends or a partner or a family relative or whatever that you didn't want to hurt, but it just happened. And now you got to deal with it. You have to heal yourself from that, so you can be better for the next group, for the next partner, for the next family member, whatever, right? The next person you get close to, you can be a better version of yourself when you meet them, because you've already healed and learned and understood what happened, how you need to improve, how you maybe need to change, whatever. Like, just learning and growing and healing. And that transfers into honesty, being honest with yourself. Were you in the wrong? What did you do? What do you need to improve on? Are you living up to the standard that you want people to have of you? Like, it's so much that goes into being honest with yourself. Like, it's it's a crazy deep dive. It's a crazy deep dive, right? But that's like the main thing of what I wanted to say today is moving on. It's not just saying moving on. It's a process. It can be a long process. It can be an easy process. It can be a hard process. Whatever. It's a process at the end of the day. And I've had my own times in my life where I really had to move on from a lot of stuff. And, I'm thankful to God for helping me to heal and to move past stuff, even when it was my fault why stuff happened, and being able to learn and to do better and to grow. And when people have fallen out with me and people have done things to me, being able to move on from that, like, I thank God for giving me the ability just to heal and to also to wow, this is crazy. Wow, this is crazy. Full circle right now. Back to the verse about being in love. Love, fear is nowhere in love. And so, when I there was a point in time when I was messing up and I was scared or just fearful of just making new friends or whatever, because I felt like I was gonna mess it up again. I was scared. I was fearful. But that just being closer to God and being able to heal and be able to experience love it's great, man. Full circle moment right there, for real, definitely. But I just hope you guys, just understood the message clearly. I know people be wanting longer episodes, but I'm even though the episodes are not structured, the flow of them are, if that makes sense. Like, I have topics written out and I go through them and I, have points, whatever, right? So when I'm done with the points, I be freewheeling, but I can't freewheel for long. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of, goes hand in hand with, the public speaking, idea I had. But we'll see if that comes to light. But regardless, though, I hope you guys have a great rest of your whatever the case, because I don't know what time or where you are or what you're doing. Or honestly, if you're in the gym, do one more set, because what are you even talking about? But I hope you guys have a great day, great night, great afternoon, whatever. But yeah, thank you guys for listening.